What's up? Good morning. It's Tuesday again, and today we might actually write some code. I know I say that every Tuesday, but this one's gonna be special. Maybe, I don't know. How is everybody? What are y'all doing? I see Shubro was early. What's up? Good to see you. Um, let me put out the boop signal for everybody. Let everybody know I'm here. What's happening, Bridgewater? How you doing? How do I do this thing? I need to go into this channel. Let everybody know I'm live. All right, that note is up. We are in business. And what business we're in? Great question. Okay, so here's what's going on. Here's what's happening in my life. And tell me what's happening in yours, because I always want to hear it. But so I've been working on a new version of the Learn with Jason site for what feels like an eternity now, and it's been if you've been watching this for a while, you've heard me talk about this a handful of times, so I'll truncate. But the big idea is I'm moving from a site that's dedicated to only the Learn with Jason series to a site that works more like Netflix, where it's got all the series that I run and the ability to support the network, studio, whatever it is I do now. And so that involves having user accounts, that involves having a Stripe integration so that people can set up subscriptions if they want them. It has the integration with Sanity, because I'm tracking the users in the same place that I'm tracking the guests on the shows, so that it's all one system. It involves having using the Astro server-side rendering, some of their server islands. It has a markdown blog, and it also has another thing that I don't exactly. Oh, I just added Inngest yesterday, which was kind of turning a corner for me, which I was excited about. So one of the things that gets really complicated when you start stacking all these different tools is that you end up having these sort of like async webhook driven web flows where, for example, if somebody is logged in Clerk, they're able to create a subscription in Stripe, and that subscription needs to be tied to their Clerk account so that we know whether or not to show certain bits of UI, like thank you for supporting and whatnot. It also needs to be tied into their Sanity account so that I can show who the supporters are, as like I want a little wall of supporters on the site so that people can see. And so all those things need to happen. So when you do your subscription, Stripe fires off a webhook, and then that webhook needs to send some data to Clerk. It needs to send data to Sanity. It needs to send data to. It actually does like a round trip where it needs to put the Clerk user back into Stripe so that we've got a two-way connection there. And it also needs to, this is just a nice to have, but it sends a note to Discord so that I know when somebody has become a supporter, right? So lots of things there. And then, there's wish list stuff. I'd love it to automatically add a role on Discord if I can figure all that out. And more and more that I want to do over time. But so each of those is a specific step, and each of those steps needs to happen, and I need to know if one of them failed, because if one of them fails, then the whole system kind of breaks down. And the way that I've been handling this up until yesterday is I would do it using serverless functions, and the serverless functions would throw errors if something was wrong, and I would never see them because I'd have to be looking at the logs, and I don't have log retention turned on for more than like a week. So basically the only way I found out if something was broken is if somebody told me. And there's no like recovery. I just have to go manually make whatever change it is that needs to be made. which is not really a sustainable way to do things. And you know, I know myself, and it's just not something that I would have the ability to manage. So I was looking around at solutions, and Joel Hooks and Sylvia Vargas have been telling me about Inngest for a long time. And so what Inngest does is it gives you the ability to set up these workflows, and the workflows work just like a serverless function. In fact, I'll show it here in a minute, but the functional setup is no different from setting up a serverless function. The only main difference is that instead of putting your logic just sort of in the serverless function file, you wrap each individual side effect in a step, they call it. And so each step then is executed by Inngest in a way that is retryable, and it holds following steps until the current step is completed, so that you're able to do things like create a Sanity user, and then you need that Sanity user ID to do other stuff. So the step returns the Sanity user, and you're able to, if that fails, it'll actually retry that step before it tries to do the rest of the stuff. So you don't get these bizarre errors where, you know, somewhere in the middle of your workflow, there was a timeout or a network blip, and so now your user is broken because it got created with a bunch of undefined user IDs, or if you're better at writing code than me, you get a bunch of errors because there is no user ID defined. So each of those little challenges, right, is something that you can write your way around. You can do a whole bunch of different solutions, but like the big thing that I was thinking about is how do we become resilient to errors? And the retry is a big part of that. And then additionally, I wanted a little more visibility into how things work, because the logs in serverless functions are fine, but they're dependent on what you create, like what you add. And I don't want to necessarily have to set up structured logging or any of the things that would actually make it useful. So Inngest just kind of handles that for you. They give you a dashboard. You can see the events. You can see which events triggered which functions, what the inputs and outputs were for those functions. And most critically, you can retry stuff, which is freaking huge. In fact, I'll show you all how this works here. You know what? Why don't I just do that now? Let me see what's everybody going on. What did I do with the left part of my keyboard? I don't know what I did. But so, what's up, Alex? What's up, V-Dog? What's going on, Jamie, Fada? Dark Texan. Love that. Robert, what's going on? Good to see you. Sanania, good to see you. Simply Abby, sorry. Yeah, this is great. So this is all on AWS. I am not using AWS. I'm not using Lambda step functions. I am using Inngest. What's up, Sadanand? What's up, Oscar M? What's up, Matt? Good to see you all. What's going on, college profile? All right, let's pop something up here. What's going on, Jacob? Let me get to the right screen. Let's go to this one, and then I'm going to present my screen. And we're going to go to the better layout. I wish I could make the default, but I can't. Let's see, LWJV2, Inngest, etc. That's what's going on today. So we'll show that. What's up, SBX? Yeah, that's very true, Alex. I'm kind of doing this the hard way, partially as a learning exercise, and partially because I think this is the closest I've ever had to having a business that is worth building something custom for. And you know, I'm just gonna rock on that. So, Eric, what's going on? Good to see you. Mohammed, starting to learn React. If you've got budget, the Epic React course just got updated, and it's very good. this one here. If you don't have budget, then there are good resources. Like, honestly, react.dev is really good. It's written by some of my good friends, Rachel Lee Neighbors, Dan Abramov had a lot to do with it. Good sites, good information. What's up, Anant? David, how you doing? All right, let's dive in and look at what's happening on the site. All right, so this is the new site, and you can see up here I'm not signed in, so we can go in and we look at, for example, the Web Dev Challenge, and then we get into the Web Dev Challenge. We can see the site here. Am I like zoomed out or something? So I've got some CSS things I'll have to deal with. But then when you click into one of these, for example, this one here, it will show you the video. And then when you scroll down, you can see here's who the sponsor was, here's the details, links, et cetera, et cetera. We've got each of the individual people here. So like Shande, click in to see Shande, and I can see if she had added a bio. Like on mine, I'm the only one who's actually used this yet. So I've added a bio, and so you can see the bio here. You can see the links that I've added. You can see that I am a supporter of the show. And then for a while, I had related stuff. I think I either turned that off because it was slow or because I was testing something. So I'll need to go back and figure that out. And then I have related episodes down here. And then I've got the list of supporters down here. And so the way that I want this to work is I can show you, once we have lots and lots of people supporting the show, we will get a wall O supporters, right? And this is what I want this thing to look like. And for each of these people, you can go through and see who they are. So here's Charlie, and you click through and you can see Charlie's profile and links and all that kind of stuff, right? That's the goal. That's how I want this to work once we get through everything, and once hopefully people start switching from, I know we've got a handful of people on YouTube, we've got a handful of people on Discord and on Twitch. And I want to move it around so that there are more incentives to be on here, because it's definitely better for me as a creator because I'm paying a lot less in fees if you go through this system, and it's also hopefully going to be better for you because you'll get access to things such as let me log out here. I thought I was logged out, but apparently I was not. Okay, so this is my account, right? And so you can see here that I have my my profile photo, I've got my subscription, I can go see my public profile, which you've already seen, I can sign out, and then I can update my details. Now, all of this is loading out of Sanity. And on a previous stream back a few weeks ago, we wired this up so that this form is hooked up to Sanity so that when you hit submit, it goes to Sanity, it makes the update. You've got the ability to control your newsletter subscription. So right now this is hooked up to ConvertKit, or Kit, I guess it's called now. And this loads out of Clerk. So if I sign out and then I come back in here and I go try to watch this sneak peek. So this doesn't come out yet, right? This is in the future. So I click through, and now there's stuff that is supporter only. And so you see the buttons that encourage you to become a supporter. And then if you go to become a supporter, it'll take you to log in, and then you will see, I need to fix this because we don't land you back where you were, we land you on here. But now that I'm logged in and I'm a supporter, I can come back out here and I can click on this, and now we can actually watch the video. So this part's powered by Mux, and it will actually work now. Great, everything's doing what I want it to. Okay, cool, so that's all doing what I want. So Vinny, the challenge I have is that because I have to make a decision on historical accuracy, because I don't have a record of who was supporting for each show at the time of release before now. And so what I'm thinking of doing is keeping the supporters as kind of a wall at the bottom that's going to be current supporters, and the supporters during the show are in the credits of each show. So we can see back here, if I'm on this page, when we get, excuse me, when we get down to the actual, how do I get you to get out of my way? We've got all the credits here, and then somewhere in a few seconds, we'll see all of the supporters, right? So this is my record of who is supporting the show for an individual episode, and then this is going to be who are the active supporters on the site, because the extra complexity to like time box this stuff and make sure that I keep records and what happens if somebody deletes their account and all these other things. I was just like, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze in that particular case. So can you sign up and support on the new system currently? Not yet, but my hope is, what I want to do today is I actually want to try to take this to v2.learnwithjason.dev and see if we can make this work. Share the link where you can find the Web Dev Challenge episodes. That is at lwj.dev/WDC. I think I didn't add the HTTPS, so that's not going to be clickable, but that's the short link. You can jump in on there. Let's see. So nothing yet to change. Hopefully today we'll be able to make that change. What's the tech used to build this site? Let's take a look. So this site is built using Astro. So we've got Astro rocking in here. We're using Clerk for the authentication. We're using Mux for the private videos. We're using YouTube for the public videos. We've got Sanity going for the CMS side of things, and we can look at that in a second. I have Unpick for the images themselves to make them a little more compatible with the Cloudinary stuff that I'm using, because I use Cloudinary for my images. Got Algolia going for the search. That's not quite wired up yet. I am using, actually I got rid of this Discord and just went straight to the REST API. I'll tell you what, Discord is like the least friendly developer experience I think I've worked with. Like, it is hard to use. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. So let's see, what else do we got in here? We're using Inngest. Inngest is how I'm doing the workflows. We're using React for some of the, actually, you know what? We're only using React on this site for the Algolia stuff. That's the only place where it's used. We've got Stripe for payments. And then, we're using TypeScript. We're using Zod for schemas, handful of other things like that. So here's how this works in practice. I have 3 different windows open. So I've got my Astro site. I've got my Sanity backend, and I've got my Inngest runner. And this one, I actually want to turn this one into a command so that I don't forget it, because that is definitely how I run. So we're going to take this and we're going to say dev ingest. And that is, so this is how this actually works. We run the ingest CLI locally, and we say that the ingest functions that are being served, those all get registered through this endpoint of API ingest. I'll show you how that works in a second. And so what that means for me is that I come out here and so I've got my ingest cloud set up here. And I've set up webhooks. So the first webhook is from Clerk, and I write this little transform function. It's very lightweight. I get the event from Clerk. I rename it to have a Clerk signifier. Is this visible? How hard is this to read? Whoops, what am I doing? Oh my God. Cancel, 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 undo all of that. Okay, so I've got I'm renaming the event, and then as the data, I send in the event data, right? Nothing wild there. And then I have one for Stripe subscriptions. This one is almost the same. We rename it, and then the only other thing here is because Stripe might send something twice, we just use the ID to make sure that we don't end up with duplicate data. And then we send through the data like this. Okay, perfect. That's all that I needed. And then, because I've got these webhooks listening, now I get events. And these events are the things that come through when people do stuff. And each of these events, I can kind of see, like if I go look at the user created, I can see, let's see, 24 hours. I guess I haven't used that one yet. Let's go back. Let's go to user updated. Here we go. And then I'm using, got everything zoomed in and stuff, so it's a little weird. But then when I click on the event name, I can see the actual event that was triggered and all these pieces. I can see, you know, this was my user that got updated. And it would say whether or not it triggered any functions. Now, because this is the production instance and I haven't deployed yet, this isn't running. But look at this. See this little grayed out send to dev server? So check this out. If I come down here and I start up Astro, so I npm run dev, and then I come down here and I npm run dev ingest. Okay, so this starts up my local dev server here. Let me just copy this. Okay, so now this is running. And I can see my functions, I can see my apps, right? And it says it's synced and everything. And if I come back to the cloud and I refresh this page, now I have the ability to send an event to the dev server. So here's why this is cool. So if I come out here and I go to manage my profile and I'm going to update my subscription, and let's say I want to go to the gold tier, confirm. Okay, so this just fired off a webhook, but back here on my site, nothing has changed, right? Like that, nothing has happened. And that's because on my local site, I don't have a way to receive webhooks because it's running locally. The webhook can't hit here, right? So what I was doing before is I was using like the Stripe CLI, and then that would set up a local listener for Stripe webhooks specifically, but then I didn't have the same thing for Clerk, so I was gonna have to set up like a Sphinx local listener and all that, and it was just very painful. So instead, what I can do is if I go back to my events, and we just did a subscription updated, and so we'll see that here's the subscription updated that just ran. And now, let's go to functions so we can see, here's what's going on here. Watch this. I'm gonna click this send to dev server, and I'm gonna come back over here. Here it is, sorry, runs. So this just got those details that I got from the other webhook, and I put them in here so I can see here's my Stripe subscription. I can see the details that came through. So like which down here, it'll say the items. So I can see what plan I'm on. I can see the ID of the price. I can see the ID of the product, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm able to run all of these things. So I've got the, well, actually, let's look at what it actually did. So if we look down here, it retrieves the current subscription from Stripe. It retrieves the product from Stripe. It gets the customer from Stripe, and you see it ran these in parallel. Then it updates the user subscription on Clerk and Sanity. It does those in parallel. And then we use that detail to update their subscription and send a message on Discord. So all of that happens, and then we've got these kind of like sub runs that are going on here. So if we click into one of these where runs, and then like in one of these, I can see that this is the subscription retrieve, right? So the input that we got is here. We have the data of the ingest thing, and then I sent in the subscription ID, and then it gives me back the Stripe subscription object. So now I have this, right? And here's what's also cool. I just have access to this. I don't have to log it. I don't have to go find it in my logs or anything. I can just copy that payload if I want to test it. But here's the other really interesting thing is if I want to rerun, and then to show you what actually happened here, if I reload the page, it now says I'm a gold tier supporter, so my subscription is changed in the system. And if I go look at my Sanity stuff, which I can start here, and then that'll open on localhost 3333. And I go look at my people. And now we can see that I'm also updated in here. It shows my what level I'm at, that I'm active, when I joined. So all those details are like being tracked around. And if I look at my Clerk dashboard as well, go into my users, let's go here. And then when I come down and look, there's my details, right? So it's running all of these things for me. And then if I want to just say I changed something and I want to run it again, I just click rerun and it reruns the whole set for me again. And I don't have to do anything, right? So I just have access to all these details. And anyways, this is sick. There's a bit like, I'm kind of blown away by how cool this stuff is. But let's see. Okay, VDog, maybe somebody's gonna have to explain this thing to me because Discord.js was impenetrable, and I was like, how do I send a message? And they were like, here's a code snippet with no explanation, and then it didn't work because they didn't explain what the hell intents were, and they weren't clear on like which intents needed which thing. So and there was like no debugging info, so I was like, cool, all right, I'm out, and I just used the REST API because it didn't. There was like, yeah, it was really 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 tough to use. Is the site live yet? It is, well, not quite, kind of, sort of. What's up, Charles? How you doing? When is the next episode of Web Dev Challenge coming out? Let me double check. It is coming out on October 30th. We got a Halloween special. Oh, thanks for the sub, Charles. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like where it's going to be hard is when I want to start changing around roles, when I want to start doing other stuff. I'm going to need more than what I've got. But honestly, like right now, it's kind of killing me. Anyways, so okay, so this is how the Inngest stuff works. Let's look at how it actually is written. So this is an Astro site, which means that I create my API routes here in the pages folder as a .ts, and this is what I have to do. So they have an Astro framework thing for ingest, and then you define your functions, and then you write an ingest client, and then you just make sure that you export on get, post, and put so that they can do like the put they use. I think is like a ping or something, because I see they call it about every 5 seconds when I have the dev server running, and then get and post so that I can receive requests, obviously. And once you get down into the utilities themselves, when we open up Inngest, so I have, let's see, this is what I'm importing right now. These are like my utility functions to do stuff in different frameworks or in different tools that I'm using. Got some types, got my Discord stuff, and then a bunch of types up here that we won't worry about. You can type each of your events like so, which is really nice. Then we have our schemas. We create our ingest client like this, and we just pass in the schemas. And then each of these is like a handler to do some stuff. So this is a user created or updated webhook, and I want to, this is the ID that I create, so this is whatever I want, and then whenever I get a clerk user.created or clerk user.updated, I want this function to run, and the specific function that I want to run is this one here. So you get the event. That's the event that we put into through that transform in ingest. And so anything that came through from Clerk is going to be under event.data. So I can extract my username, first name, last name as event.data. Whatever the key is in Clerk. Then each of these things we set up as a step.run. And so step comes out of ingest. This is a way for us to tell ingest to do stuff. And each of the things that we do encapsulates what they say to do is one side effect at a time. So I want to load this person. So this is a request to the Clerk API. Sorry, this is a request to the Sanity API actually, because I'm loading the Sanity user based on the Clerk ID that's linking them. And then, so I do this one thing. So if this fails, this is retryable. And then once it succeeds, it ends up in this user variable so that I can come down here and do stuff. So what I end up doing with this one is creating a photo. So this is a Cloudinary photo generation thing, gives me a URL. Then we check that we have the user, we create the user, or if we do have a user, we update them. And we're just setting their name, user ID, username, and photo. And that's like if I go edit my username in Clerk, I need that to be updated in Sanity so that they stay in sync. Then let's see, down here where we do more complicated stuff. So let's collapse these for now and we'll come back to them in a minute. So here's when you first sign up to the site, you have the ID that I generated and then the event that I want to listen to, which is when Stripe has a checkout session completed. And we grab out like the data from the event, and then I get the user ID from the object metadata. That's the Clerk user ID. We go get the subscription out of Stripe. And so I ended up using this twice. And the way that you make things reusable in ingest is you can define them as separate functions here like this. So the retrieve Stripe subscription comes up here, and this looks just like the other one that I wrote, but it's only doing one thing. And the reason that I do it this way is so that I can call it in two functions without having to like fully copy paste everything. And I mean, you could probably argue about what's drier and like what's easier to debug, but so I was able to put a few helpers out here. So retrieving the subscription, the product, updating the Clerk and Sanity objects. So in here, we get the subscription, we get the product out of Stripe, we get the Sanity user, and we update the Stripe metadata. And notice I'm not awaiting these. These three here, I'm running in parallel so that because I don't need, like these don't rely on each other for data. So all three of these can run at the same time to reduce the amount of latency that's happening. If we get a user, then we can do this. This tells ingest that it's not that there was like an unexpected failure. This is like, hey, this is broken. Like we can't, retries won't help. Then we update the Clerk user, we update the Sanity user. Again, we do those in parallel, as well as sending a message to Discord that says that, hey, somebody just joined. And I did these single variable file names so that I could keep this on one line, because otherwise it was doing this like goofy wrapping thing that I didn't want. And then I await all of those so that all three of those run in parallel. And that's how an ingest function works. And so, you know, it's not that different from what we would write. I think the only main difference is we wouldn't have the wrappers like this. But all the other data, like we'd still be doing the same things. We'd be either calling these as helper functions, or we would be putting them in line. And so these step.runs are fairly unobtrusive. But what it creates is this output that we saw here. So when I'm looking at my ingest stuff and one of these runs, so like this is the customer updated. So I guess we can look at the updated one just to see a apples to apples. So when a subscription gets updated or deleted, we do the same thing. We use the subscription retrieval. We get the customer from Stripe. We get the product from Stripe. Run those in parallel, and then we grab the user out of Sanity. We update the Clerk user so that we kind of change their subscription to match whatever's in Stripe. We update update the Sanity user, and then we send a message that somebody updated their subscription, right? So we can see each of those steps happening. So we come in here, we retrieve the subscription, we retrieve the product, we get the customer, we update the user subscription, we see if there's an existing user, we update that person's subscription because there was an existing user, and then we send the message on Discord. And we can see where things are parallelized, right? So here, here, and here, these all ran in parallel. So this is kind of why I chose to go with this tool. And again, we can debug any of these by just kind of expanding them down. If I can get to there, we can expand them down. We can see what the output was. We can see, how long it took. So, a little over half a second. It's just really nice to be able to do this. And they've got some like little quality of life enhancements that are being broken by my tiny browser. But anyways, whoa, what button did I just hit? Yeah, so, you can do stuff like expand it to be full size or wrap it or whatever it is, right? There's all sorts of nice little quality of life things in here. It's a good tool. So all of that to say, because of that, I now have the site in a place that I think we can start taking it live. Now, here's the downside. I have everything set up in here under a development instance. And so the big thing I got to figure out is all my users, which I don't have 295 users because I imported each guest on a show as a user so that I could show the profiles and link them to the shows that they were doing and all that kind of stuff. So that's why this is here. And then in Sanity, I'm on a development instance, so I'll have to get that exported to production. Inngest, I'm in production because I forgot to set up a different environment. So that's fine. This will just rock. And then I have the Astro site it is currently deploying, but it's deploying in a fairly chaotic way where it's on like a auto-generated Netlify site. So the steps for me are kind of challenging. Let me rock back through the comments here for a second. Oh, thanks for switching from Twitch. Yeah, the Twitch stuff is definitely like I'm less and less confident in Twitch as a platform. Like I'm happy to keep streaming there, but it's not doing what I want it to do. And so I'm leaning more into YouTube as sort of the source of truth for streaming and publishing and all that. Can I guide you in getting a job? I've got a lot of streams where I talk about that. The short answer is keep building stuff, share what you're building, try to make a lot of friends, and be patient because it takes a long time to start, but it will happen. And once the ball starts rolling, it's hard to slow it down. What's up, Paterfamilias? What company am I currently working for? Mine. I run Learn with Jason. It is a independent developer-focused media production company, more or less. And I do all sorts of fun stuff and still get a chance to build every once in a while, which I'm very happy about. Yeah, this integration is wild, right? Like there's a lot going on, and the fact that I'm able to sort of piecemeal these things out is I think a really strong. It's a vote of confidence for the tooling being clear because again I can just kind of see what went in and what came out at each step in the process, and when something fails, I can see what caused it to fail. And in the local dev server, like if I make a change to something, I can just rerun that thing and see if it worked. So it really helps me. What's up, Fuzzy? How you doing? Let's see. Event-based processing, sort of. So it's kind of like if you could take all of the good things about setting up queues, setting up, like Kafka and a RabbitMQ and those sorts of tools. If you could take those and make them serverless, that's what Inngest is doing. And so for somebody like me, this is kind of this is what's a viable option. I'm not going to change my entire method of development to manage a Kafka setup. Like, I'm just not going to do that. And so event-based, like event queues and event-driven dev and all those kinds of things that you would see, those always sounded cool, but they were so far outside of the way that I build that they didn't feel viable. This feels very viable, and I think that's what's exciting about it, because I was kind of freaked out by it. Like when I first, and I tweeted about this yesterday. I've been told about this 1,000 times. Like, oh man, you're gonna love this. It's exactly what you need. It's a great tool. And I was like, it seems like a lot. I don't know, event driven. It seems like a lot. But then when I set it up, I was like, this is exactly what I was already doing, and the dev process feels better. So yeah, sad that I procrastinated. Very happy I found it, and pretty pumped to feel like I'm this close to launching, right? Let's see. What's up, Abigail? How you doing? Can I say more about what Twitch doesn't? Okay, so here's the thing about Twitch. Twitch is for people who want to stream as like let me not speak for other people. When I was focused on Twitch and what I was doing was streaming, Twitch was great because it gives you a little more information. It has the built-in games, the hype trains, you can do stuff with the emojis. There's the interesting stuff you can do with their like the IRC feed that you get from Twitch, so that you get what emojis people used and the comments and all of those different pieces, so that you can build out fun overlays and get, I don't know, I used to have a boop drop thing where every time somebody used the boop emoji, it would fall from the ceiling and it would bounce around and disappear after 30 seconds or so. Or you could do things where if people said they use certain commands, you could have special overlays. All that stuff is super fun. However, in the capacity that I'm using Twitch most of the time now, which is as a like live podcast medium, the emojis and the sounds and all that stuff was really distracting for the guests. And so that meant that I was kind of fighting against Twitch a lot of the time. And on top of that, there's no discoverability on Twitch at all. So when you go to Twitch, if you're streaming there, you're not going to get found by somebody who goes to Twitch and is like, what should I watch today? Because that's just not what the platform is set up for. So you have to bring your own audience, and you have to make friends with other streamers and raid other people's channels, and none of that is wrong. It's just that's the ecosystem that you're buying into. So the fact that a lot of what I was doing wasn't really in line with the Twitch setup of, during a Learn with Jason episode, for example, we're not taking questions from the chat most of the time. We're working, and we have spots for Q&A, and we're not interacting with emojis. We're not interacting with, there are no sound effects anymore. We've turned all that stuff off because I want to make sure that we finish the thing that we're there to do, which is to learn that piece of tech. So I felt like for me, just going in on YouTube made more sense because it's ultimately a live filmed YouTube video. If that makes any sense at all, I don't know. And it's also just a mental model that I have. And then beyond that, I also think the challenge I was having was splitting my audience between lots and lots of different places, and I don't want to. I don't like having like partially abandoned anything, and I don't have the time to keep up on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and Twitch and YouTube and so I've sort of been consolidating down to the ones that I actually use and trying not to just leave things, abandoned and sitting kind of in a zombie state. But all that is to say, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great platform if you want to use it, and especially if you're using it as ephemeral streams where you want to hang out with people, but you're not keeping records of it. You just want it to be like, I'm hanging out today, come hang out, and once it's done, it's done. or after 2 weeks or whenever the timeout is for VODs on Twitch. I think that's a great use of it. It's just just kind of up to you. Tony, I'm just here to try to make you feel bad about your decisions, Let's see. When will I get to do the front end challenge? Are you asking me that? I've been doing it. And if anybody wants to do it, we do have a hackathon going right now. Let me drop a link to that. lwj.dev/WDC hackathon is the link. Let me throw that up on the screen here. And that is a great way if you're trying to build a project, build your portfolio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is a good opportunity. You should give that a shot, see how it goes. My videos and style of production remind you of Dropout. That is actually such good news because that's exactly what I'm trying to set up. The long-term plan or the midterm plan, I guess, is right now I have Learn with Jason Web Dev Challenge. I am actively working on a new show. We're going to start production on it soon. That is a game show, and it's going to be its working title is The Worst Tech Interview, and it's going to be sort of like a cross between the Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and Hot Ones. I won't elaborate on that. I'm gonna wait and we'll see once it gets into production here. But that will hopefully drop within this year. I'm having the big production meeting about it at the end of this week to talk about what it's going to require. But I don't know if I'm going to be in that show. I might just be making that show, right? So I'm still trying to decide, am I going to be the host or is somebody else the host? And I have other ideas for other shows that would make more sense for somebody else to operate. So what I really want is for LWJ to become like Dropout, where people who have ideas can come here and we set up some kind of a like revenue sharing or whatever. I don't know how. I'll have to look into what a production deal looks like for something like this. But so I can do the production side and, devs with great ideas. And there's so many people out there that I would love to work with. Like, I know Mark Texan's got ideas for talk shows and game shows. Cassidy Williams is brilliant. Anytime I can work with her on anything, I'm jumping at that chance. And I'm not going to try to remember all the other names because there's so many other brilliant people. But like, those folks aren't going to start production companies because it's not the thing they care about. They just want to make cool stuff. So if I can be the production company and they can make cool stuff, then it's a chance for both of us to get to do something that we wouldn't have gotten to do otherwise. And it's something that y'all get to watch that probably wouldn't have existed otherwise. And so the goal of, again, setting up this sort of supporter idea, having people supporting the channel directly, is the more of these things that we get, the more I know, or the more I'm able to produce, the more we can pour back into the community and making more of this stuff. So that's the intention, is Dropout TV, but for tech, or Nebula, or any of the sort of subscriber or the creator owned platforms. That's the vision, and we'll see if we get there. So yeah. Let's see, what else we got? Give you back your submarine. I know. I do miss some of those games, and there's a part of me that wants to bring him back just for this stream because this stream is a little more twitchy. Just have to go figure it out. What do we got? What's up, Todd? How you doing? The Twitch, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is like the Twitch app is kind of hard to do. It's tricky for me. But yeah, am I too far off the mic? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Charles' cast, perfect. Yeah, I love Dropout as well. It's wonderful. Sound is good. Okay, good. Adding it back to the stream. I do think, so the other thing too is that StreamYard just introduced pricing that is kind of both reasonable and unreasonable at the same time. They're going to roughly double the price of the the thing. So it's going to be like $900 a year to run StreamYard, which, being reasonable, is a completely realistic thing to pay, because it was $400 or $500 previously, and it's going to go up to like $890 or something like that. So it's a lot. It's a big increase. However, if I spend more than like 2 hours working on like a custom rolled streaming thing, then by my consulting rate, I've already paid more to work on this than to just have StreamYard do it for me. So I do think that's a whole thing, right? Is being reasonable, but yeah, getting another streaming PC would be probably a thing I'd have to do. I still have that streaming PC, the one that I once upon a time when I played games. Yeah, so if I needed to, I could roll that in here, and it would be fine. Once complete, it's free for you to use forever until it breaks. Which is why I switched to StreamYard in the first place, was because I had a bunch of things that I'd built that worked most of the time, and then when they didn't work, it was like an emergency because I was 20 minutes off a stream and I'm like trying to figure out why this service was down or whatever. I got a lot of reasons why I don't want to host my own thing, but then so much of me wants to host my own thing because it was just fun. Like, I love doing it. Ooh, trip planned to Portland? Hell yeah, hit me up when you get here. That'll be super fun. We'll go on a food tour. We don't have great lobster here, so we're gonna have to eat something else. Something I've been wanting to build for a few years. Yeah, I mean, that's the same, right? Originally, I was, one of my ideas before I realized I was gonna go into media production is I was planning on building like the ultimate dev streamer setup. And so I had started building, it's kind of like a Clerk approach to streaming, where I had built core components and a basic overlay that was browser based, so that anybody could go in and customize it and do all these things. And I think it was good, not great. And if I had focused on it full time, I could have probably made it good. But I also realized that it just wasn't, like, running SaaS wasn't what I wanted to do. Do I have a hackathon after every video? Currently, yes. So through the end of the year, there are going to be, what episode are we on right now? Whoops, that's not the one I meant to pull up. We want Web Dev Challenge. Currently, we have 6 episodes up. We are going to have 10 by the end of the year. And each of those is going to be accompanied with a hackathon. So they drop every 3 weeks. I'm thinking we might have a little bonus toward the end of the year to get all 10 in. You know, it's gonna be exciting. And I've got some fun stuff. Like, the next one that's coming up is a Halloween episode, so you're gonna be able to do some Halloween things. That'll be really fun. We've got a Santa's Workshop episode coming up that's gonna be really goofy. We're doing one around gratitude that's gonna come out around U.S. Thanksgiving. Lots of fun stuff coming up. So keep an eye out. Really amazing people are coming on the show. The apps are super cool. The people are super funny, and the tech is also, you know, it's just fun to try out new tech. So be ready. Stay frosty, as they say. Oh, you got to use Dino today and work? That's cool. Thank you very much, John. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's get back to this thing. I'm gonna drink some of my coffee that I've been staring at all day. I come to the studio and I'm like, okay, I gotta get coffee before I get to the studio. And then I sit down, and when I get to the end of my stream, I haven't had any of my coffee. Fortunately, this is a very good mug and it keeps things warm. But you know, yeah, the Halloween episode is gonna be super fun. No spoilers, but it was a blast, and the devs that I got were super funny, super creative. It's gonna be a good one. That one's coming out on October 30th, so day before Halloween. So, you know, mark your calendars, join the Discord, do whatever it is you want to do so that you are aware when the new hackathon drops. Yeah, Jacob, I actually agree. Like, one of the things that is really strong about YouTube is that it's built around playback, where Twitch is definitely not. And so the fact that you can be here live, but also, you know, stop and like you said, take a meeting and then watch it 2x for 15 minutes to catch up on the last 30 minutes, that's pretty dang cool. Spoopy episode. Spoopy is a relative term. Like my tolerance for spoop is like 2 on a 10 scale. I don't do scary movies. I am a big old baby. I don't like it, and so, you know, nothing actually scary will happen. Mainly because I wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay, so let's get back into this. Let's see where we can go with this, because I want to take this live-ish. So let's make a list. For me to, nope, not that one, this one. All right, so I need to do the production clerk setup. That needs to be done. Validate the muck setup. That's done. Like, that works. We changed that one. That one is no longer a thing. Did I do the do it anyways videos? Let's see. Yes, so those are in. I'm going to have to update these once we go live. Still need to get the most recent episode of Web Dev Challenge in. I don't have a schedule. That's a problem. I haven't done responsive styles. That's a problem. Haven't done a dark mode. I feel like people are going to be sad about that, but I'm not going to let that stop me from launching. And then figuring out deployment. So deployment that we need, excuse me, deployment we need to figure out is going to be, we need to go Stripe live mode, webhooks. We need Clerk live mode and webhooks. Sanity data set to prod. We need the subdomain because we're going to do v2.learnwithjason.dev for a while. Envers. I think that's everything we need. So these don't need to be ready for the V2 launch. Like this part, because I'm launching it on V2 and I'm not going to like direct traffic there just yet, I'm going to, you know, trust y'all to know that the site is not done. I should probably also add a whip banner with link to GitHub for issues. Okay, so let's just get this thing deploying. I think that's going to be probably the most important part here. So let's go let's break these down a little bit because this is going to be a huge commit. Let's do. Let's get rid of the Discord.js or npm uninstall Discord.js because I didn't end up using that. And then let's make sure that that updates all the details. And then we're going to git add package lock and package JSON. We'll commit those and say update deps. Let's add the ingest stuff. And source pages API ingest. And that's going to be add ingest for Clerk and Stripe webhooks. Okay, what else we got in here? We've got a Discord source util Discord. Add ability to send messages to Discord. What else? Let's see. I'm going to leave out that become a supporter page. Git add. Let's actually just look at these in the source control. Okay, so here's our changes. All right, so that one we're gonna commit. I should just be using this. This will be easier anyways. Let's go. Just gonna toss these in here. Any other like generic stuff? No, these are all fine. So we're gonna say chore prep for launch. And then down here, we added the Discord bot token. Oh, so while I'm thinking about that, let me pull up a different window over here that's got my Netlify environment variables so I can add that bot token. Environment variables. Yup, okay. So we're going to add a variable. It's going to be called Discord bot token, and it does contain secret values. It is only going to be available in functions, and it does have the same value for all deploy contexts. I'm going to pull this off to the side so that I can open that .env safely. Grab this variable. Okay, and then did I save my ingest signing key? No, I did not. So let's also put the ingest signing key in here. And that one, I'm going to assume that's probably fine. Let's do it like this. Drop one of these. Do one of those. Okay, so then I can close this, bring it back over. All right. So then, let's add this one. Our schema JSON that's from Sanity, so we'll skip that part for this one at least. So we'll say add in our Discord envar. Here we've got Sanity stuff. Let's see, update Sanity schema. Then some just basic page cleanup stuff. So we'll do these ones. Just say style and copy tweaks. There's this big ass migrate page. I'm gonna leave, well, yeah, it's fine. Update migration script. So this is the script that I wrote to get my stuff from the production instance of Sanity into the development instance of Sanity so that I could like change the schema and stuff. Which reminds me, generate redirects for all old V1 site pages that changed. Because we're going to have to do that. Okay, this is no longer used. This was, this is actually a good side-by-side of what changed, because this was how I was doing the setup with without ingest to handle the setup, to handle the webhooks. And so the signature, cool, yeah, all that. But then I had like a switch statement that went into these event completed pieces, and then all of these, and there was like, you know, returning responses that things were wrong. And then we had, you know, getting the product. We had to go update the customer, do the Clerk client stuff. And so as you can see, like it's not too different in terms of overall code. The main thing was if one of these steps broke, like if this step broke, all of these would try to run and fail, and this doesn't log anything, right? I would just kind of get an error stack trace, and I'd have to go figure out, oh, so it broke on line 56. Let's go hunt down what that is. So that's why I think Inngest was such a game changer for me. Then what happens? We go over here, and we say remove old webhook setup. Let's talk about what happened in here. So much happened in here. Is it just the sponsor stuff? Yes. Add sponsors. And then here we are adding supporters. The styles, yep. And then in here, a lot changed in here, and I'm realizing now that I think I didn't undo the... Yeah, I didn't undo that change, so we would have everybody listed. So that will fix that, and then we have feature... update queries, add supporter query. Here we exported the client. All right, yeah, so this was the same thing. Then this is the add supporter query, update. And finally, we export the client, add webhook validation function. Okay, so that should do that, and then I can just click this button to take it up to Netlify. So then if I go over to Netlify, I should be able to see here the site is building, and if I did everything correctly, it should actually function. So while we're waiting for that, I want to set up a domain, and I want this to be v2.learnwithjason.dev. And I think that just works. Awaiting Netlify DNS like I have to go change it, or awaiting Netlify DNS like you're doing it for me? They're doing it for me. Cool. Okay, that's dope. So then, theoretically speaking, oh, this will be a fun game for us. What broke? Build command failed. Discord bot token is missing. It's not, though. Did I spell this wrong? Discord bot token. Oh, god damn it. I added it to the wrong site. That's frustrating. Okay, so I will now fix this environment variable over here with the correct site. Discord bot token, specific scopes. It only needs to be in functions. It does contain secret values. And I need to grab this over here again so that I can do that. Okay, we're gonna get this thing deployed today. Today's the day. I've been putting this off for way too long. It's gonna be so broken in so many ways, but I don't care because I trust y'all. Okay, so that's the Discord bot token, and then I need the ingest signing key. Specific scopes, we're gonna go maybe builds, I don't know. Let's do it like this. Nullifies you. I think I screwed this up. Okay, I think I'm going to delete this one and add it again. Add a variable. Discord bot token. This has got to be the most entertaining thing that anybody's ever watched, right? Just me looking off to the screen, muttering to myself. Create that variable. Let's come back over here. Let's clear cache and try again. And now we should have the environment variables. Please and thank you. While we're waiting for that to build, I should also rename this. So that I can actually find it later. Let's go back to the deploys. It's building. What's up, Michael? How you doing? What keyboard am I using? This is the Moonlander, the ZSA Moonlander. It's very good. It's ortholinear. It's very hard to use, and so be aware that it takes time to learn, like a lot of time to learn. It took me about 3 weeks to be able to type at like 75% of my usual typing speed. Failed again. Let's see what failed this time. Okay, now you're just lying to me because it's definitely set. So Discord bot token, did I typo this or something? Discord bot token. Edit. Oh, I bet it's because it's not available to builds. So let's save again. Let's retry. Now everything's available to the builds. If you haven't figured it out yet, it is indeed on Netlify. If you want to run an Astro SSR project on a VPS, you're going to use the Astro node adapter. And this will let you run Astro as a node app on whatever you want. So this would be that would be where you want to go look so that you can find that. Let's see here. Boops, not spoops. I love that. Trying to complete a challenge in 4 hours is spoopy enough. Let's see. Any advice for a 17-year-old learning to program? Keep doing it and try not to get frustrated when it's slow at first, because it is something that takes time. What is Inngest? Inngest is honestly, it's kind of hard to explain. They use a lot of words that if you know what those things are, it's like, wow, this is amazing. If you don't know what those things are, it took me a little bit. But basically, it gives me the ability to run steps in a way that is like easy to see and easy to debug. So I got this function called, like, the subscription got updated. It called this Stripe subscription updated function. And then I think maybe my dev server's disconnected. But so we get the thing that happened, and then we can see a breakdown of what happened, all the data that came in, all that kind of stuff. And then I can run steps against it. And the steps that we ran here are, I'll have to restart my dev server to show this, but this triggered all of these, and each of them is independently retryable. They all show you what the input and output was for that particular step. So you get a really good debugging view of what's going on, and you get more resilience instead of a function that has 5 steps in it, where at any point one of those steps could have like a network failure or something like that. This would pause, rerun that step, and then, assuming it succeeds the second time, move on to the next thing. So it's really good if you're connecting lots of different systems together, lots of API calls, things like that. It also does a bunch of stuff that I haven't touched yet. Like, you can do things like have it wait. So you can run a function that will, when somebody signs up, you can wait for an event that is like created a first post. And if you never receive that event after, say, 5 days, it will then move on to the next step and trigger an event like send an email that says, hey, any trouble getting started? Can we get on a call to show you how it works? So it's really, really interesting. There's so much cool stuff you can do. I've barely scratched the surface on this, but I really like it. Just for this, it's worth it for me. And you deployed? Heck yeah, you deployed. Okay, let's see if this moment of truth. v2.learnwithjason.dev, and it is live, everybody! Oh, yeah. Okay, this is great. Okay, so now this isn't going to work yet because, oh, actually, hold on. Let's see what happens. I'm going to sign in. Okay, so we're on Clerk staging, so we got to go fix that. And then once we get in, it didn't work. And it didn't work because I haven't added this URL, I don't think, to Clerk yet. So let's go to the production instance and let's configure. And so we need domains, I think. Those should be fine, but I need, yeah, those are all fine. Okay. So what did I do wrong? Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet I'm on the wrong set of tokens. So let me get back into the fun of dealing with my Clerk setup. Let me go check, where do all these details live? Here's the Clerk stuff. Those are definitely the test keys, so I need to get my private keys, which are going to be down here. If I click this button, is it going to show? Let me just, you know what? Just look at my face while I do this so that I don't accidentally leak everything. Let me get my Astro stuff. Okay, so there's my public Clerk publishable key. So I'm going to update that one. going to edit, and we're going to different value for different scopes. So I'm going to change the production scope only so that deploy previews, branch deploys, etc. are going to use the test key. Good. Then I'm going to do the same thing for my secret key. And we're going to set that one to be just on the production instance. Okay. So we save that. And then I think that'll do it. Let me check the sign-in URLs. Those are all correct. Okay, so that's the Clerk stuff. Stripe is already on the right pieces, so let me shut down. Okay, so it actually didn't show the key, so let me bring this back up. So these are my keys. It's got the secret keys, all those different details there. So let me head back out. This is our production instance. So I've updated the key for production to do the thing. So I'm going to rebuild using the new key, which should theoretically move us to the production instance, which I did configure with my own OAuth and everything. I think it should just work. We'll see. Thank you all for the celebration. This is great. What's up, Nikki? Haven't seen you in a while. Have I hit time limits on ingest functions? No, but I haven't run anything that runs for a long time. They have like async stuff and background stuff, and there's I think it should all be fine. Don't exactly know what the I haven't looked into hard limits or anything, so still many questions that I'd need to answer as I kind of scale this up. Looking at the pizza print behind me, yeah, that is from Aaron Draplin. So this, Aaron Draplin did this, and then I found this in an antique store, but it's got a name. I just can't remember what the name is. But yeah, this one makes me happy. Okay, so that's reloaded. Let's go back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. All right, we're going to just clear all the cookies and stuff because I think I might be in a weird in-between state here. So, all right, now I'm going to try signing in. I'm going to sign in with my GitHub. Unable to handle this request. So what does that mean, though? Like, what's failing? Dashboard. Am I getting logs? No user details found. Dashboard, Astro. Okay, so let's bring this back over. Actually, why don't we search for find in files. What was the error? No user details found. Okay, so we're looking to see if we get details from Sanity, which tracks because, okay, so I know what's going on. Fine, that's fine. We can actually fix this, and we should be able to see things kind of do a whole thing that I want them to do. All right, so now I don't have an account. We're going to go back out here. We are going to go into the network. We are going to, application. We're going to dump all of our cookies again, and we're going to go specifically to the home page, and then I'm going to hit sign in again, and this is going to have me create an account. So I'm going to click this. Why didn't that work? No user details found. Have I added my webhook? Let's add the webhook. Configure webhooks. Aha. Okay, and then this one needs to be user. Just do all of these. Create. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so reload the page. We're gonna do the cookie clearing again. Gonna sign in. We're gonna create an account. Now what we should see happen here is we should see that this user created just ran. Less than a minute ago, it ran. Oh, that makes sense. v2.learnwithjason.dev. I forgot to set this part up. Inngest, okay. And then I need to copy this. I need to go back out to my details here, and I need to add the production signing key, which obviously, okay, not necessarily obviously. This is complicated stuff. Let's do this one. We're gonna save, then we're gonna come back out here, and we're gonna deploy one more time. Watching from Bangladesh, what's up? Check the site, cool. Thank you for watching. Stress because you're not getting a good job in full stack. Is there another good way to make money? I mean, the short answer is there's a million ways to make money. The longer answer is that all of them take time to build into real money, and so it just like you have to spend time on something that you enjoy doing, because I need to be careful about how I say this, because it can imply things that I don't mean to imply. It is possible to make a living doing a lot of things, and the skill set that we get as developers is a good portion of the way toward a lot of different setups, or toward a lot of different there are a lot of jobs we can get, if that makes sense. And so finding the ones that make us happy, that people are willing to pay for, that's sort of the work that we have to do. And we have to be, I realize that it's not helpful to have somebody say be patient when you are broke and can't land a job. But it's very hard to get the momentum going. But once the momentum is going, it is easy to sustain it and to grow it, right? And so the trick is that you're pushing on a boulder right now, and to get that boulder rolling is hard and slow. but if you keep pushing, it will move, if that makes sense. Okay. So what's happening here is we are trying to deploy the V2 version of Learn with Jason. So I have just set up my ingest functions, and so the way that works is this API ingest is an endpoint that I set up here that exposes an ingest client and then the functions that I've registered, and then all the functions are declared in here that do things like handling a Clerk user created or updated, handling Stripe subscriptions, getting Stripe products subscriptions, updating user accounts in Clerk and Sanity. That's kind of how all that works. And then down here, what we've done is we've registered the site. So v2.learnwithjason.dev is now hooked up with Inngest, and then we set up a webhook in Inngest so that whenever something changes in Clerk, we're sending those details to Inngest. And so what that should mean now is if I go back over to my users and we come back out here and we try one more time, what we should see happen is when I sign in, oh, I gotta clear my cookies, right? Then I'm gonna create an account. I'm going to use GitHub. So this one ran, and then it triggered my functions. It said everything ran and worked. So let's look at our runs here. So here's the user created or updated. We check for the existing user, we update the profile photo, we create a new user in Sanity, and oh no, is this one of those like, it's gonna be too slow to logs, functions, system. And we're not getting user details, but we should have user details. So if I start my this dev server, what's up, V. Friesen? What's up, Arthur? Thank you so much for watching. Could it be a timing issue? Definitely could be a timing issue. Let's look and see if we're getting data. Look at this. We got people signing up. That's dope. Okay. But so mine, why wouldn't it let me sign up? What if I just manually change mine? Is that too chaotic? That feels pretty chaotic, right? But I don't know why it's not working for mine, but it would work for everybody else's. Let's delete again. Let's come back out here. So now I should, what, bro? What is happening? Like, am I logged in as the wrong user? Is that what's going on? How do I get Clerk to dump my session? Can I just force this user to log out? do I didn't delete the old user, that's true. Let me try doing like a Clerk logout on the dev server, because I think what's happening is that when we're hitting Clerk, it's like bouncing us back. I'm kind of confused as to how that works. I feel like something weird is happening that I need to fix, but maybe if I just sign out, that should cancel everything, right? And then when I come back out here, and then I cancel all of these, and then I refresh hard, okay? I'm gonna delete this user in production. We're deleting, get out of here. Okay, so now there's no user, so I'm coming out here. I'm gonna create an account. I'm gonna use GitHub. And did it do the work? Okay, that's better. That's better. So created a Clerk user ID. That's good. So now if I refresh the page, I have an account. Okay, so that sucks that it's going to take a little time. So how do I... How long did this take to run? Let's look. So it takes 4 seconds to run. I can probably parallelize these. Handle stripe completed. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Check for existing user. This uses none of that data, so I can run these at the same time. Okay, so let's parallelize these. We'll make this one into user and photo, and then that's going to be an await promise.all, and we're going to put these in there. So this one and this one will get renamed. This is going to be called check user, and this is going to be called upload photo, and it's not being awaited anymore. So then we get this and this. Okay, so that should make this faster. I still don't think it's going to be fast enough to solve that lag, though. So I wonder if I need to instead I bet what I need to do is change that dashboard page. Instead of failing if there's no user, let's instead look for where the user details get used. Okay, so we're gonna, if we have user details, we'll show this section. Otherwise, we'll show... Why is this mad? Let's see. Your account is being set up. Please check back in a few seconds. I can see how companies end up doing these sorts of things and then like never going back and fixing them. Why are you mad? User details. Okay, so now look at my poor chugging Astro config that like can't handle. Okay. Okay. We're gonna try source control. What? Focus on changes, work trees, show source control. That's what I want. Okay, so let's add this. This is all just white space changes. Yes. This is all fine. And this is not being used anymore. And that's our parallelism. Okay, so let's see. Fix race condition for signups. Okay. Then let's ship that. This is a great idea. So actually what I should probably do, come to think of it, is how would I do this? I could what I can do is I can like I can trigger something when after the updates are done. I could just add a trigger at the end that says like fire this other thing, which could be a, reload the page or redirect to the dashboard or something. However, that would require having some kind of polling thing or a real-time thing, which I could do with Convex pretty easily, but then I'm using Convex for exactly one thing, which feels a little, that's a lot of tool for one move. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try this. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to delete my user. Thank you all so much for signing up. And sorry for showing everybody your emails. Let me go back here. And then, once we get in here, I can create an account. When I create the account, let me delete this user as well. Okay, so now I'm going to create the account, and it shouldn't fail. It should show me a placeholder. Your account is being set up. Check back in a few seconds. Cool. I click the button, and there's the account. Okay, so that needs work, but at least it flows, right? And then the next piece is making sure that these bits work, which I think they will, but I need to set up the right webhooks for this. In fact, this might just work. Let's try it. What? What is that failure? Am I missing a key? Expired API key? Did I roll my Stripe key? That's fine. I'm glad that's working. Let's go to dashboard, Stripe. I'm just over in my other setup here, getting a new API key in my other window. So API key, I'm in Learn with Jason. I'm in live mode. I'm going to copy this one, I guess. I guess edit key, does that work? No. Okay, so we're gonna roll it. We're rolling this key. Expiration date now. Roll API key. Use security thingy. Unlock, let's see. Okay, so there's my new key. Going into my environment variables, we're going down to Stripe, into the secret key. We're editing. Okay, and then I need the publishable key. Let's make sure I've got the right one in there as well. Maybe I set this up a while ago. Edit. Save. Okay. Let's deploy again and let's see if we can get the Stripe stuff to function. This might just work. Looks good on it. Indeed, it looks good on a t-shirt. Let's see. So in here, when we get to the index on the dashboard, we've got up in this section here, we're not pulling anything from the user details, right? We're only pulling from the Stripe user. Which wouldn't exist for a new account. Good, yeah, that all makes sense. So that's fine. And so then have I experienced any redirect loop with Clerk and Netlify? Only if I've like done something in dev that changes the nature of like how Clerk is checking for things, in which case I go to the application tab, clear the cookies, and that tends to clear it up. But it's usually when I get it stuck in like a weird state. So let's go back, refresh the page. We are going to try again. Here we go, y'all. Okay, this is happening. So, is this just set? Like, is this just gonna work for me? No? Okay. I'm gonna actually just pay this. So hold please while I put in a credit card number. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're subscribing. And come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Like a grown-up streamer not doxing myself. Indeed. Okay. So now let's see, that didn't work, but it didn't work because why? Let's look at my runs. Clerk user created. Okay, so this didn't actually do what I wanted it to do. Let's go look at the session checkout completed. Subscription changed 21 minutes ago. But not the, yeah, we're not getting the new ones, and that's because why? Because the webhook, because the webhook is for, the webhook is for the other, for the development instance. So let me get back in here. We're going to get my, we need a new webhook from Inngest. Because this one is for, well, I guess I can just throw this one in, right? Like set up a webhook. And this, yep, okay, that's what I did wrong. So here we go. We're going to do one of these. We're going to do, what do I need? I need checkout session completed, and then I need subscription updated and subscription deleted. Okay, there's the endpoint URL. Production LWJV to ingest. Okay, so now I have this endpoint, and I need to come back to this customers thing. Okay, so let's look at this for a second. Subscriptions. Here's my subscription. I'm going to cancel this subscription. We're going to refund the payment and cancel it. Okay, so now I don't have a subscription. And so if I come back out here and I refresh the page and I come in here, and let's pull this off screen again so that I can do the thing. And that's processing. Hopefully Stripe doesn't like flag my account for refunding and immediately reselling. Okay. Look at it go. Okay, so now we're getting what I want. This is exactly what I wanted. So we have, we've got the details in here. It's doing the thing. If you manage your shit. Why didn't that work? We're so close. We're so close to this working. Let's see, a valid resource ID is required. You can't create a portal session in live mode until you save your customer settings in live mode. Okay, that's fair. I don't know what these look like, so I'm going to open them over here. Oh, looks like this. And so this is the actual setup, so let's save them. Activate link. And then theoretically speaking, this will just work now. Dope. Okay, so this is very cool. I am missing, I need to set up a pricing page, I think, because this should allow you to update your subscription. And so to do that, we do what? Allow customers to update subscriptions. They can switch plans. They can do the silver tier, they can do the gold tier, and they can do the platinum tier. Let's try that. So then if I come back out here, go to manage again. Now we can update, and we've got the 3 plans. Ta-da! Okay, so then what we should see is when I come out to one of these and we click in, we get the supporters. Hell yes. Okay, this is dope. Oh, I have duplicate username problems. I'll have to fix that. But so now, if y'all want, you can become subs through the site itself, and that works. Oh, that's sick. Okay, that's so exciting. I'm using TypeScript, JavaScript. ChatGPT can build this too, maybe. I've been catching up, pausing for a while now. Highly disappointed there have been no leaks. You're welcome, Vinny. Thank you, Fuzzy. Okay, so this is exciting. This is really exciting. So then that means that what we should see happening is we should also see out here that like runs are happening. There we've got the checkout sessions. We've got the subscription updates. Is this one frozen? Oh, we're getting errors. Okay. What's the error that we're getting? User ID is undefined. Oh, crap. Okay, so that means we're missing check for existing users. So let's go back to the code. Let's figure out what went wrong. Check for existing user. And the way this runs is it is looking for a clerk ID. So are we not setting this? I think we might be skipping a step here. So update clerk user with Sanity external ID. Sanity update existing user. We are not adding update person from clerk. Names, fields. Oh, and we're not setting the user ID. So that, yeah, that tracks. Thanks, Eric. I'm having fun too. I'm enjoying this. Okay, so so I need the ID. Okay. Back to Inngest. We are getting, so the actual ID that is needed, create person with user ID. And so what's happening is these users aren't being given an ID, but they have an ID, don't they? Here's the user ID, and there's a customer ID. Does the ID not match? What is my current user ID? 2NU4, 2NU4. Yo, these match. spores. Yeah, that's the right user ID. So why is it missing a user ID down here? Check for existing user. The user ID is here. That user ID should be coming out of the Stripe metadata. The Stripe metadata is being set. Where is that being set? It's not being set. Was it being set in the webhook before? How does that work? Ah, crap. Okay, so if I go back to my portal, we get the customer ID, customer, so that's the customer. Where is the metadata coming from? Let's go look at that webhook and see if the thing that I deleted was something that I needed. Oh wait, no, this is the one I want, but I want v2. And let's look at remove old webhook setup. Okay, so if we go back to this one, then I can look at the old webhook setup. And that was in here, Stripe and webhook. So this is getting set here. Where am I actually doing this? I guess let's find every instance of me using metadata. It's not going to be in types, not going to be in there. Migrate. Checkout. Okay, so it's when you check out. Okay, but that should mean then that in my Stripe user here, where is my Stripe stuff? I moved it. It's over here now. Customers. Here's me. So I should have metadata. And I do have metadata. That metadata is here. And it's the right metadata. So, what the F? Okay. Let me take a quick break. I'm gonna use the restroom and refill my water, and I will be right back. And then I will figure out what the heck happened here. Okay. Let's see here. So I have I've got metadata. We can see the metadata here, which means that either something is out of sync, R2JY, that's the same customer, so those are linked properly. And so, and that is what we're using, right? Is API Stripe checkout. Yes. So that's all being set properly. So then, in Inngest, we need this user or no, that's not the flow. We want this setup, right? So we get this user ID, which is in the metadata, which we verified is in fact in the metadata. But then when we run this, it is not working for some reason. But it's getting set here. Something's going wrong. But that's circular. Why am I even doing that? Because the Stripe metadata has to be correct for this to work. Because there's nowhere else for us to get the user data. Get Sanity user. Okay, so I need to update my local env to use the production stuff so that I can mimic this output, I think. Love software dev, but I have a really hard time getting started when it's just for me. Finishing personal projects seems impossible. I so I have a similar challenge, and generally speaking, I won't build something unless I don't have a choice, if that makes sense. Like I have a million ideas for stuff that would be neat to exist, and I just don't build it because it's not. I know how busy I am, and I know that I'm not gonna do it, right? And so, being, I guess, realistic with myself, I I don't. This is gonna sound weird. I like doing things just for fun, but like I don't do web stuff just for fun that often when it's intended to be something useful. Like I don't build side projects for the sake of building side projects because I don't want to have to maintain them or sunset them or any of the things that aren't fun about building. So instead, I tend to either build smaller stuff, proof of concept stuff, that's just intended as like a learning exercise and not like a side project. Or I build something like this, which is a big, hairy project that has been very difficult and I've been working on it forever. And I'm doing it because I have to. Like I need a site and I'm not going to hire somebody to build the site for me. And so here we are, right? Um, so something you want to build and you want it to be in the world. So, and I think in that case, like I've done a lot of that stuff, but I do it, I just scope it down. Like it doesn't have to be for multiple people. It doesn't have to be for anybody other than just me. I'm building something because it's like I'm interested in seeing it, right? Um, and I try to like remove features so that I can actually build the part that's interesting to me. And then if it's working, then I can always add more to it, you know. But a huge problem for me has been trying to plan like the business. Like, oh yeah, so I'll build it like this, and then people will have accounts, and then they'll be able to do this, and this will be how we have like integrations with companies, and this is how we make money. And suddenly I'm trying to build these super full featured things that just don't like. Really, what I wanted was to make like, a good example. All I wanted was to be able to make a list of restaurants that I like with notes on why. And instead, what I started doing was figuring out how I was going to partner up with like Eater so that I could maybe sell it to them one day. And I was like, man, this sucks. So yeah, keep it simple, and yeah, remove the remove as much as you can so that you can actually build it. Because what Robert's saying about like get it to a point of completion, there's something to be said about the chain of confidence that comes. Like if you when you finish something, it tells you a story. It like reinforces in your brain, I'm a person who finishes things. And building that type of momentum is important, I think, because it changes the conversations that we have internally. And I think if the way that you talk to yourself is to say things like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, I never get anything done, that affects a lot. And if the way that you talk about it instead, if you just reframe that to, I always make things smaller, but I always finish, then in terms of what you accomplish, it might be the same in terms of general work, right? But in terms of what it feels like, in terms of how you talk to yourself, what your internal monologue sounds like, it's night and day difference. Um, and so, yeah, trying to be the person who finishes things is really critical. And a lot of being able to finish things is being able to scope things appropriately. And so it's it's not about working through it. It's about remembering that it's a side project. It doesn't have to be SOC 2 compliant. You don't need security or any of that. You don't even need users. You can run it just on your dev machine, right? But like get it working so that you can feel like you saw the thing that you wanted to exist. And if you choose, you can always add more scope. You can always add a new feature. But like pick a feature and build that feature, and then you can always add a second one, right? Now you're somebody who finishes features. You've built, instead of one app that was 150 features that you were never going to finish because it's not funded, it's not your full-time job. You finished 5 features in a row. That's 5 wins, right? So I think that's a good way to look at it, to try to turn it into, it's a chain of successes instead of like one giant goal that is sort of impossible to complete. Big winds are flocks of little winds flying in formation. Bridgewater, you fucking speak in things that I want on posters. Yeah, start small, keep scaling it. Being able to push through is a killer skill. It really is. But yeah. Speaking of finishing things, I've got about 40 minutes before I need to shut down, so let's have some coffee, see if the caffeine shakes something loose here. All right, I'm gonna get the live environment variables pulled over. So bear with me while I stop showing my screen for a second. And we're going to the .n. Nope. Here's the stripe stuff. That was the secret key. Then we're going to get the publishable key. And actually use those. Right, then we're going to use the production tiers. Okay, and then I need the Clerk stuff to probably be on the production instance as well. What am I doing here? I want... Okay, so I'm still copy pasting keys. Bear with me. Clerk. And up to the Clerk secret key. Copy. Okay, so that's live keys for Clerk, live keys for Stripe. The Muck stuff is fine. Cloudinary stuff is fine. Kit stuff is fine. Sanity's fine. And the Inngest stuff, I think, needs to be the different one because it's 2 instances. Good. So then I'm going to stop. Restart with the new keys. We're going to come back out here and we're going to see if I stop and start here. Not synced. Why aren't you synced? Inngest can automatically span. Oh, did my site crash? Oh, I didn't actually start the site. Oh, it did crash. Okay. Just give me one more second. I'm almost here. Now it works. Now this works. Now we're on our runs. Okay, good. All right, so let me close this one and bring this back up. Okay, so API key cam, no. Okay, so when we run this, this is the subscription completed webhook. So I should be able to come to here. I should be able to take this one, session completed. So, that one worked. That one worked. Update person subscription. Okay. So is there something in the... That's not the one that was even broken. So let's come back down here and let's look at this one, because this is the one that was failing. And it would be get Sanity user, customer metadata, user ID, which is there's no reason why that wouldn't be set. So let's just log those bits there, and we're going to rerun this, because this is the one that failed. All right. Can I send this to my updated? Here's the latest run. 29 minutes ago. Was it that long ago? And this was for me, probably. I don't know. Send it to the dev server. And it just worked. So was all of this confirm? And then out here, we should see that run a new updated. Did that freeze? Okay, but no, so it works. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it did that, but seems fine now. And then when we come back out to here, where is my actual setup? Okay, so we're on the new plan. We come back out here. We're on the right plan. We come back out here. We update the plan. We go here again. Okay. Come back out. And how long does that take to run? Let's find out. Takes a few seconds, so that'll be a thing of like background stuff happening. And then what should happen is if I cancel my subscription, and then out here we should see the run happen. Yeah, there it goes. That all finishes, and then when I come back out to the thingy, it says that it's canceled, but it goes through the end of your period. But then if I get into the customers here and I get into the subscription, so we can see out here that I've got a subscription. It shows me that it cancels, but I can cancel it now. And I will just refund. And let's cancel the subscription. Okay, so that's all refunded. Hopefully I don't get my account suspended for doing that. And then when we come back out here, no longer a subscriber, and also look at this. Now we get the feed. This is currently in like a bot testing channel, but look at that. That's dope. That's dope. That's very cool, everybody. So this is pretty slick. Like, I'm feeling good about this. I think we're in good shape. And then let's just test that I can do some of the updatey stuff. So I'll go in here, grab one of these. And that all works. Okay. There we go. So it's doing the thing. It's doing exactly what I want, which is wonderful. So that means then, to anybody who's feeling it, I don't know if anybody was planning on making the switch, but if you want to give this a shot and let me know if it lets you subscribe, I would be very grateful. Just so we can see how all of that works. And then this part is blocked, right? And then, let's see, and then if I go like fake this, because I'm pretty sure that should be gone now. That says canceled, but watch me cheat. Then when I come back out here, oh, that's not good. What does that mean? Video URL or playback token are formatted with incorrect or incomplete information. What does that mean? What am I missing? Was it just like the, ah, shit. What would be missing here? Why not use Patreon? A couple reasons. The first is I don't want to. The 30% is a big part of it because yeah, like Ko-fi is cool. But what I want is I want to be able to start pulling this stuff together in ways that show like this type of support, right? And I can customize these in any way that I want, which is not like maybe you can do that with Patreon, maybe you can do that with some of the other tools, but like it's just not it's just not as friendly, right? And because I know how to build stuff, and because I want to grow this eventually into being something like we were talking about this earlier, but like eventually I would like to have LWJ become a sort of production house like Dropout, where this is folks who were at College Humor and then they switched over, and now they have a whole collection of series that, come on, there we go. So like they have all of these series that they do, and some of them are run by Sam Reich, the I think the founder, and some of them are by other comedians, but they're able to just make all this stuff. And this stuff would almost certainly not get approved for primetime TV or like make it onto Netflix or whatever, but it's really good and it should exist. And so this is all user supported. And I think it costs like $50 a year or something to support this channel and get it in there. And then I also want to add some additional features. Like I want people to be able to, for example, get, oh right, because I cheated and I set it to be active. So let me make it canceled again. So I want people to be able to do stuff like if they want to opt in to higher tiers, I can like give them 20% discounts on things like I've got Astro Party coming up and stuff. And so anybody who subscribes at the higher level will get those discounts. And if you subscribe at the platinum level, we're going to set up a 30-minute a month call, right? And the way I'm going to treat those is sort of when I was a VP, we used to do skip levels. And I would try to catch everybody who reported to my, so I had either managers or managers of managers reporting to me, and I would try to get to everybody in my org once a month to have a conversation where, you know, they had a chance to talk about what were their career goals, what were they working on, what were they happy with, what were they not happy with, and it was just kind of like a regular check-in to talk to them about like how can they get the most out of the stuff that they're doing, right? And I thought that would be a nice way to incentivize people. It's a higher price point. It's $100 a month, but it's also, you know, it's like a regular checkpoint to see how you're doing. And obviously you don't have to take a 30-minute call. It's up to you. But all of those things are intended to be, you know, like this is possible to do on things like Patreon, but if I did it on Patreon, it would be $30 of this goes to Patreon and 70 goes to creating content. If I do it here, it's like 2.5% plus 35 cents or something to Stripe, and that's it. So it just, you know, it's definitely I'm spending time to make sure that more money goes into the production of things. Let's see. So let's poke at seeing some notes. Thought saying that the profile's not working, so let's go look. Yeah, I don't see in here, Fada. You may have signed up when things were broken. So why don't I'll tell you what, I'm just going to delete your account so you can sign up again. Okay? Try it. I'm just going to do it. Can't manage your profile. What happens when you try to manage your profile? Blank page. Blank page here as well. Okay, let's go look at some function logs. Cannot read properties of undefined dashboard. Property was undefined dashboard, Astro component instance. It's all very servery. Cannot read properties of undefined reading state. So what is it that it can't read? Newsletter subscription state. Oh no, is that just like, you know what? Let's make that a problem for another day. Like that is not critical. There are many ways to manage your newsletter subscription, and so we are not going to stress out about that one. I will figure out how to deal with that at a different time, and we are not going to let that ruin my party. So we're going to oh, one too many. Okay, back. Open recent, v2. Git add. Pages, API, Stripe. Hold on, what's going on in this? What did I actually change? We scrubbed, okay, so that's fix, remove test value. This is temporarily disable newsletter. And this was, we don't want to do that. Okay. So let's ship that. Oh, I wonder if the Google stuff doesn't generate a username. But it should force a username. That's a good question. Have I made that required? Let's go to configure. Let's go to username. It says required. Asked you to specify one, and after you specified it, it didn't. It stayed a blank page. Made you pick a username. Why not a framework like React Forms for handling forms? Mainly because it's a lot of work and it doesn't add a whole lot of benefit for what I'm specifically trying to do. Okay, so the newsletter's gone. If everybody can give another shot to manage your profile now, because the newsletter piece that was causing errors is gone now. Because I think the blank page was because it was looking for your newsletter subscription, and then when that failed, it was bailing on the whole page. So I need to probably encapsulate that and add like a, you're not on the newsletter. Do you want to get on the newsletter? That's a problem for another day, because there's a whole page dedicated to the newsletter right here. And, you know, don't always need to get super clever. But so theoretically speaking, then everybody should now be able to actually load up and see what's going on. And maybe, just maybe, we can try to get an actual subscription rocking here. Just me staring into the camera, waiting for somebody to give me money. That's how these next 5 minutes are gonna go. But seriously, just refreshing over here. Do I accept Amazon Prime? I don't. Mainly because I don't know how. Migrate existing. Oh, you can migrate stuff to Stripe now? Dang, they keep adding. I don't know if that's a new feature or an old feature, but I am consistently, every time I open up Stripe, I see something new, which is like a good and a bad thing, right? It's kind of got the AWS problem now where it's like, oh, you can do literally everything, but good luck finding it. Let's see. But I feel like we're getting close here, y'all. Like this is, tried in a mobile view, this is gonna be so rough. Everybody ready? Yeah, footer is completely jacked in a mobile view. What else happens in here? Well, it's not as bad as I expected. This footer is gonna break everything, but like these are kind of close. That's got issues. We'll have to fix that. I do remember doing the menu, so that's better. Single pages work fine. Still need to figure out my schedule, how I'm going to manage that. The blog should be in pretty good shape, because the blog didn't really change from the original version. So if we fix this, in fact, we can. I have the technology. Let's npm run dev in here. Update profile button could do with some hover and active styles. Fair. Let's see. Let's get our footer fixed, and that's going to be, I believe I did that in the layout. Footer, it's a component. So here's the footer. And so we need all right, so that's going to be our layout. So I need to break this footer into its display grid. So we want to display grid only if it is min width, let's call it 800 and see how that looks, and then we'll adjust. So we'll move this in here and this in here. Oops. And instead, let's just see what happens if we leave it. If we leave Are you doing the thing, or? Oh, I didn't actually delete them. That's why it's not changing. Okay, so that's better, not great. This appears to be the issue here. Oh, so okay, so we'll have to fix that. All right, so that's going to be in the episode preview. The episode preview has this info and meta. So that's probably going to be what the issue is. Info, let's look at the meta. Episode meta. Okay, so this one is going to be meta. That should be a container query, but I don't think I'm going to... let's go with 800 again, and we'll say... Actually, why don't I just wrap this? And that did nothing. Because it's the title bar that needs the wrapping? That's certainly better. Title bar in the series list. Where is series list? Okay, so that should largely, I mean, this is actually what we should do is in this series list, we probably want to split the display grid. So we probably want to change that to be only if it is min width. We'll go 800 again. And we'll take this down here, take this down here. That's significantly better. Okay, so then what I need is, actually all of this should probably just come down here, huh? But what we can do instead is we'll display flex direction, column, and we'll give it a gap of, we'll call it 2 rem so that they've got a little spacing. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that feels good. That's usable. Let's dive into one of the actual sets here, and then we get each of these. So then these episode previews should be bigger. And the inline size is 200. So let's collection slug. Let's look at how these are actually listed here. Got our header, series info, sponsors, episodes. Let's just justify center, and then when we get above we will justify content start, and that should give us a centered episode here, which I'm going to be fine with, and then when we go full size, they stay to the left, which is where I want them. Good. Back to here. All right, let's look at an individual episode. That's almost good. See, this bar needs fixing. This part's fine, that part's fine. More episodes, good. Got our supporters. Yeah, it does look like I need to fix the titles and stuff. I haven't done any SEO stuff yet. That's on the list. What's blown out here? This one. This is blown out. So let's fix that. That's going to be on the episode slug, and that is called. That's the sponsors, resources, episode links. So those are display flex, and we will just flex wrap, and I think that'll fix it for us. And it does, hooray. Okay, so that's that, and then if I head to the blog page looks good, definitely needs some work, but is right. There's the hackathon page. Yep. Okay, so this footer still needs some work, but it's at least not like actively broken here. So let's go back to that footer. Whoops. Line item center. We did a, let's go display flex. We're going to flex direction column, and then we'll set a gap of 2 rem. And I want to justify content center, and that should center us up. Good, and then I want those links to be these are going to be line items. Center. Okay, and then when we go full screen, they go back to being right. Okay. All right, that feels, I mean, that's not like, it's far from perfect, but it's not bad. Source control. Let's add all of these. Do. These are all good. Ship them. What else? Has anybody tried to do the subscription thing? Like, I know I'm staring here saying, like, I'm once again asking for your money, but if anybody was planning on making that switch, I would love to get confirmation on whether or not it's working. Because, like, it worked for me, but we've determined that working on my machine is not acceptable. increase the width on the episodes. Yeah, I need to go do like a full pass on this, because what these probably should do is fill the available space. So I need to do some like container query stuff on that. But yeah, we'll do some changes there. Let's see. Vinny, you rock. Thank you. And let's see, do we get a Vinny at the bottom of the page? There's a Vinny. It works. Amazing. Vinny, do you want me to refund that? I know that you weren't planning on doing it. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, this freaking rules. And now we can go through, we can see all of the bits. There's our guy. And then if I come back out here, we should also see it on the public page. And there's our guy. Hell yeah. Sick. This is great. Okay, this makes me so happy that this is working. I love it. I love it. No, this is dope. And yeah, so we'll continue sort of migrating things over as we go. I'm probably going to put a banner on this. What time is it? It is time for me to wrap. So next steps, I'm going to put a banner on here that says it's a work in progress, put the GitHub stuff on here. I will probably put a banner on the existing Learn with Jason, encouraging people to try the new experience. And we'll also, you know, if you are willing to try some stuff, if you're subscribed on Twitch or YouTube or any of the other places that you can subscribe to me, if you're willing to switch over and use this this new site, that will help me get the bugs worked out, help me understand whether or not all of my automations are working, so that we can make this thing rock solid and I can take it GA. With that, it is time for me to take 2 minutes before my next meeting. So thank you all so much for hanging out. As always, it has been a complete pleasure. Thank you again for setting up a sub, Vinny. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, thanks, y'all. See you next time.